Good evening. My last post for the night. So I've been doing some research because I had a slight panic attack. Well, not panic attack. I didn't want to walk around strutting my stuff with egg on my face because I was thinking about my horse, the horse that I died on, the horse that I loved. In my past life, I know that I lived about 1,000 years ago when I was with my love and we were pregnant with our first baby. And I know that we weren't supposed to be together. I know we weren't supposed to be together. There was friction between the two nations, the two tribes. And anyone who knows me knows that I've been talking about my horse since forever. And my brother worked at stables when he left home when he was like 13 to go and work at the stables, and he used to bring his horses Prince, King and Biscuit round to the house, and he used to let us ride them and that. And I love horses, and I had students who had horses, and they used to let me feed and brush and mess around with their horses and that. And I love horses. I've wanted horses my whole life, and because I'm in the ether stage of my ascension again, like, you know how I keep saying you keep going round and round and round and round until you learn everything you have to learn. And the ether stage of the ascension is the sixth element, and it's where you connect with your roots. And, you know, like when you first start your ascension, it's learning about like your parents and your grandparents and your childhood and your aunties and uncles and, you know, the town that you live in and where you come from and your country. And then the more you ascend and the more cycles you do, the further back you go. So this is me going all the way back. I'm tracing my Māori roots all the way back. And Māori people are horse riders. Māori people and horses they're like night and day. They go hand in hand. You don't get one without the other. Yeah? So I know that I had my horse. I can even tell you exactly what she looked like. And her name was, and I'm probably going to butcher it because I only hear it in my dreams. It sounds like Sheshshewa. That's what her name sounds like. I might be pronouncing it wrong, and I'm sorry if I am. But this is all new to me, and I've never spoken this stuff before. Sheshewa. Just like when I put my nose up against the grandmother tree, and I say, Shetiwa, hey, Shetiwa, hey. And I found out it means welcome home. I only found that out a couple of years ago. Been hearing it in my dreams since I was 4. Shetiwa, hey. And then I only found out a couple of years ago it means welcome home. And her name is Sheshewa. Sheshewa? Sheshewa. I'm so sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. But I had a look, and the Tlingit people, they weren't horse riders. They were warriors, and they rode canoes and that, which is like so Māori. I mean, everyone knows the story of when the volcano erupted, how they saw the warriors rowing the boat in the mist, you know, and it was the warriors that my nana conjured from the water to bring the whale up to carry my waka and that. So being a warrior tribe going up and down the water in canoes and that is so Māori. But I had a horse. We had horses. And I had a look, and apparently they weren't horse riders. And like, I mean, Okay. Apparently, Alaska was the first country in North America to have horses. They were first documented in Alaska than any other part of America, and they used to travel between the bridge between Alaska and Eurasia. And some stayed in Eurasia and some came back to Alaska. And they've found prehistoric horse bones in that in Alaska, so horses were there. But people tend to not keep them because, you know, the cold weather and all of that sort of thing. And I was looking it up and I thought, but my people, we had horses. And I've been looking for, like, you know, like when I get there, I know I'm going to find my horse and I want to rescue horses and I want to work with horses. And in my grandmother tree dream, after, you know, when I've climbed all over her tree and people are mortified with the red sand behind me, and she says, you know, when you get to the coyote, turn right, let the animals lead you to the horses, and then the horses will take you the rest of the way, and when they stop, look up. Remember I was saying that above where I was looking, there's a place called Whitehorse. So, you know, like there is a horse history there. There's an extensive long horse history there. But my life there was about 1,000 years ago, and the tribes in that were around have been documented between 5,000 and 6,000 years ago. So I know we were there, but I was thinking, but around Anchorage and other than like when mining came in and the pioneers and all that coming in with their horse and carriages and, you know, they were more for work than riding. It doesn't make sense. What am I getting wrong? And then I realised I'm not from Juneau. My people aren't from Juneau or Anchorage. Like I'm not from that area, but it's where I called home. It was home to me. And Juneau is everything that's been happening in my dream is all to do with where I'm being told to set up shops and where to invest my money when I get there. But the Tlingit people were also from around the British Columbia area where they did have horses, and I'm wondering whether my husband and I, when we got together, because we had a forbidden love, we maybe went back to British Columbia, around that area, which is why I was looking to build in Thunder Bay. Remember originally when I was going to move to South Dakota, when my son and I wrote The Night of the Black Sun, we had written it for South Dakota where they had to, in the musical and movie, God, it's so loud outside, the kids had to go from South Dakota to Thunder Bay in Ontario. We wrote an incredible scene in the border, you know, the border bridge, where you have to go across the border. There's an incredible big scene there that they have to do in order to get to Ontario and Thunder Bay. It's so friggin' loud outside. God, I can't wait to move. It started getting very noisy around here the last couple of weeks, and I'm not used. Someone has got the most hatupatu car. Can you hear it? It's paru, man. And it's right outside my window. Can you hear it? I don't want to have to shout over the paru engine. So I'm wondering whether when we fell in love, like we left the area. And then I got shot with an arrow because his people didn't want him being with my people. And I know that my people were royal. My people were not land grabbers, but my people, including Māori people as well, we were big into land and properties and business and trade and metals and minerals and, wealth and status. Unfortunately, we even had slaves. My Māori royal side did as well, which is why I'm trying to make up for a lot of ancestral debt, karmic debt. But, we were warriors, but we were royal warriors. And I'm wondering whether maybe he wasn't. All I know is that the reason why they did what they did to me is because him and I weren't supposed to be together. And then after I died and he took the baby, because I know that what happened was, from my dreams, I say dreams, it's the same dream, but over and over and over and over and over. So what I can tell you is that I went into labour. We were sitting by a campfire and he was painting something. He was painting with these little dots with the stick. He on what looked like animal skin, painting dots on like the stretched out like animal skin or something, and there was a fire going and we were surrounded by forest and there was snow. But it wasn't heavy snow, it was like sort of just coming into the winter season, and he was sitting and painting like it looked like an eagle head, which is one of the reasons why I call him Head of the Eagle, because every time I see him there's an eagle somewhere, like an Easter egg hiding is an eagle. And he was painting on a stick. He had different sticks in different bowls, and I think some of them had, I don't know. I'm not even going to try. And he was, it was brown, yellow and white, and he was painting these dots on the stretched out animal skin of this eagle. And I went into labour, and I think I'm getting ahead of myself. I was checking traps or something for rabbits. I remember I had like rabbits or hares, or they look like rabbits, because I just know that I had them like by the ears, like wild rabbits or something. And I went into labour. I was checking these traps, and I had these furry things in my hand. I mean, I've always said they were rabbits or hares or something. And I was in the forest and I went into labour. And he was painting, and my horse, Sheshy, went and got him. I remember saying to my horse, "Get my husband." And I'm leaned up against a tree and I'm going into labour. And he comes back and he helps put me on the horse, and I'm sitting side saddled on the horse because like I had just started going into labour, and he was walking alongside the horse to take me back to the village, and I got shot with the arrow by men that were hiding in the forest. and I got shot and fell off my horse. Thadunk. And I was dying in his arms. And I told him to cut the baby out of me, save the baby. He didn't want to cut me open. And I was saying to him, if you don't, the baby's gonna, like, the baby will die with me. Like, don't let them take two lives. And I died in his arms. And I every time I think about it, I see his face, and I see the sun behind him, and I see the blue sky, and I can feel like the cold and everything. And he cuts me open. I've got the scars still, and takes the baby. And then, because like he was so betrayed and angry, and that he basically goes to raise this baby with my people, which is where I think I don't think that my people were from the area of Juneau and Anchorage. I think we were more closer to the British Columbia side. But maybe that's where he called home after I died and I'm being returned or something. So that's all I can figure out. But the people from that particular area where I'm going to, they weren't horse people. They were landowners and traders and all of that, and fur traders and stuff, which is why I would have been checking the traps. But if we were from there, then once we got together, we moved more towards the British Columbia area, and that's when I got my horses. Either we're from that area and then we moved once we got together to around the British Columbia area, or we started in the British Columbia area, or that's where I'm from originally, from the tribe that's from around that area who were horse people. But yeah, so it makes sense when I think about it that way. Because I thought, oh my God, they weren't horse people around Anchorage and Juneau. And it's like, yeah, but that's not where you're from. It's just home. And home is where the heart is. And my heart is with my husband, who's waiting for me at home. And I've been trying to find my way back to him since I was 4. So my people were horse people. They still are horse people. In New Zealand especially. But just not in the area where I call home. But when I get there and I build my school, I am going to have horses. And I'm actually, I spoke about this with my brother just before before my Facebook got hacked by my husband, my ex-husband, soon to be ex-husband. My brother, I'm going to pay for him to come over and help set up my stables. I asked him if he'd come and help me set up my stables. And he said, yeah, I'd love to. And I said, will you come riding with me? He said, oh, it's been a while. And I said, well, me too, but teach me how to ride again. And he was like, yeah, I'll do that for you. And then I'm hoping what'll happen is, because he'll be like retirement age now, I'd love to say to him to bring his missus over and he can run my stables. Because that's all he's ever wanted to do his whole life is work with horses. But you know what it's like. You know, you have kids, you get married, you got to have a proper job. He worked in the dry cleaning business. But, you know, he owned a racehorse. He loved horses were his life. And he's the one that introduced me to the love of horses when I was like not even at school. Prince King and Biscuit were the 3 horses that he used to bring home to ride. I'll never forget them as long as I live. So yeah, they'll be well taken care of, my horses, because I want them as therapy horses and to be in our movies and stuff. So yeah, so I had a slight panic attack, and then once I did the research, I was like, oh, okay. So my ancestors were one of the original tribes, obviously, that were there from around, documented from around 5,000-6,000 years ago, which is originally how old we thought Māoris were, but it turns out we're a lot older than that. After they found that boat, remember I put a post up about it, but they were all round like Anchorage and like like the southern eastern part of Alaska going into British Columbia. So and it was around British Columbia and even like the South Dakotas and that they were all the horse riders. So I think that's where I'm from. But I think we moved about because of our situation regarding our story. We some my people didn't have a problem with him. His people had a problem with mine. Story of my life. It's happened every relationship I've ever been in. His family and friends have never ever liked me. Every single relationship I've ever been in. Done everything they could to break us up, keep us apart. Not this time. So, history repeating itself. So, and like I've always ended up in relationships where the men never had the guts to tell their friends and family to piss off. There was always fights in that. It's like, I always said that I'd never enter another relationship if the friends and family don't like me, because I just don't. I'm no drama, no more drama. I'm not doing any more drama. I live a life of peace and I want to keep it that way. But I think this time it's different because we're different people in this life. But him and I both know who we were to each other back then. It's our private personal connection. Our story from back then is our own private personal connection. And it's no bearing on who we are now. They're just the scars that we carried from our past, so that we make sure when we reunite in this life, nothing tears us apart. Nothing and no one tears us apart. We're going to be celebrated because of what we're going to be doing together for the sake of the people. We become, my teacher said, a power couple. And not like world domination power, ha. I mean like in business, in finance, in industry, in retail, in politics, in leadership, in philanthropy. Will be a power couple. Like people will know who we are, and people will know that I'm not someone to mess with. But it's an unspoken word. Like I'm not I'm not someone in business that just because I'm quiet and I'm peaceful and I talk to animals and that doesn't mean I'm somebody, like, I'm still a dragon. And as long as you don't ever meet my dragon, you got nothing to worry about. Or my taniwha if you're Māori. But putting all that aside, we're supposed to be like leaders in business and philanthropy and cultural standing and all of that because of how we work together for the people and, you know, role models for the children and all that sort of thing. We're known for doing good things with our money, put it that way. Well, I don't know if he has money. I know I'm going to have money. My money's my money. I've bloody earned my money. Nobody out there is going to think that they're going to come. I'm no man's sugar mama, put it that way. But I know that we do stuff together and make money together because of what he brings to the table and what I bring to the table, birthing something new. And then that's our money, and what we do with our money, what he does with his money is his own business. But what we do with our money and what I do with my money will be to help people. And that's what we're going to be known for. We're not going to be known for the sort of couple that just sits accumulating wealth. We make sure that we do good things with it because he has the same kind of cultural morals and ethics and integrity and honour as I do. So, yeah, I wish I could pronounce. That's, yeah, my horse's name. She's white and brown and black and splodgy. She's not like a brown horse. She's splodgy. She's white and brown and black with like little bits of like grey spots. She was like a patchwork quilt horse. And I know I'll find you. I know I'll find you one day. And she'll yell at me because I took so long to find you. My Sheshy. Sheshshewa. Shesh. Sheshshewa. Hey? Sheshshewa. Because I don't know if the last part is silent or not. Anyway, I'm going to go now because I'm getting tired. God knows what I'm going to dream about when I go to sleep. So, yeah, so now the horse thing makes sense. I can relax now. So, I'm going to speak to you later. God knows what happens next. We've got the eclipse and the planetary alignment tomorrow. And the best of the meteor showers tomorrow too. So, the cosmic whale now makes sense because it was dreaming about everything I was going to be seeing during these celestial events. So I'm nearly there. I'm nearly home. I'm nearly home, husband. Ironically, I would never go hunting animals in this life. I'd cry too much. I couldn't dream of hurting an animal in this life. But in the other one, I mean, anyway. So I'm going to go. I'll speak to you later. Ka kite. Mwah.